GoFundMe for our legal defense.
All right, okay, we'll talk about that later. Not that part. I know you was going there.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, what's going on? Oh, yo,
Yeah.
man, you feel better, man? You feel better, man?
Yeah, I'm getting better. That I ain't gonna be able to stay in the bed for no 2 weeks, man.
Yeah.
I got too many moves to make. You know what I mean?
Right.
2 weeks is not gonna cut it.
I mean, but
All right, Abe.
as we say, the last thought, man. As we say, we still got to do. We got to follow the doctor's orders, man. So just take your time. You know, I mean, whatever it is.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I'm feeling a little better though.
Good. Yeah, you sound better.
Yeah. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Real Brothers for the Real World. And we love having you come to our digital neighborhood for a little bit of time every week. And I'm TL. This is my man, Stace. And Stace, why don't you let us know what we got on the agenda for the night?
I will wait till now to drop my phone, right? All right.
That's welcome my boy.
I know, yeah. I'm keeping it real. Like, all right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Real Brothers of the Real World. Pat, always the first one. We're going to have to give something to Pat, man. Pat is always the first one, live one. We're going to have to give him something.
I got something for Pat. I got something for him.
We're going to have to do something for him. Welcome to the digital neighborhood, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, Real Brothers for the Real World. This is our weekly podcast. We'd like to see you join us. Thank you for joining us. We have 4 topics, which is customary. I'm going to run through the topics now. And while I'll do this, Nike is going to put the link up for you to join us online. Please click the link and join us in this conversation. All right.
Yes,
we have 4 topics. We have the hip hop generation. Is our individualism pulling us apart? Do we want reparations, or is it just talk? And what happened to an eye for an eye? Those are the 4 topics that we will be discussing today. So please click on the link that he just put out there and join us. But before we do that, gotta ask you, Nike, do you have a random? Do you have a random thought, man? What's up, Shaq?
All right. Yeah, I do have a random thought today. It's a little off the wall, but I just want to maybe get some other opinions on this. You remember the boy from the January 17th to the 21st was the yearly World Economic Forum and meeting. And,
right.
With that Davos agenda thing that we've been talking about like that. And I was kind of thinking about what Bill Gates said, like, this would be the perfect time for the Great Reset.
Right.
You know what? I kind of agree with that.
What do you mean?
I ain't talking about the Great Reset for them. I'm talking about the Great Reset for us.
What do you mean?
This is the perfect time. Because we have to take our power back, right? And the only way we can take our power back, as we keep saying over and over and over, is to hit them pockets, right? So right now the economy is bad, the supply chain is bad. You got people losing jobs because of COVID. So things are already kind of what you call shitty, right?
Right.
So wouldn't it be better to do what we trying to do while things are shitty than to, do things when things are looking up,
right.
pretty good. You know what I mean? It will be easier for people to make that transition of like, taking off of work or boycotting, not spending money, because there's not a lot of money out there right now anyway.
But there is a lot of money out there. That's what's causing
there's
inflation.
A lot of our money out there. I'm talking about other money. Our money, we have to withhold our money.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. So in other words, you're saying use this as an opportunity. This would be the ideal time to have a boycott or something like that. Right. Yeah. Right. Well, our
Black Dollar blackout, man. This is the year. This is going
to
be.
Well, they say though that's one of the sayings, man. It's like don't waste a crisis. When there's a crisis, that's the ideal time to make a move. Unless
you gotta think like them.
Well, but the only other thing, Nike, it depends. If the crisis is smacking you in your face, then sometimes you don't have the wiggle room to make that, because to force a crisis because you're in survival mode. You know what I mean?
Right, but if you don't want to spend money anyway, right, on a
right,
certain weekend,
right.
what? Hey, you
Well,
know what I'm saying?
to be honest with you, Terry, I got to be honest with you. I'm all with a boycott. As long as it's hitting the right group and for the right reason,
Right.
that there's always a good time for that. There's always a good time for that.
I'm talking about across the board boycott. I'm talking about unless it's a black business,
Right.
a black owned business,
Or necessity.
or no, what necessity can't wait
Gas
a
for your
day?
car.
Get the gas, get the gas beforehand.
Oh, you talking about one day? You still talking about one day? Okay, I got you.
I'm not talking
One
about
day.
one day. I'm talking about for as long as it takes.
Yeah, but you can't not buy gas. Hear me out. Hear me.
Okay.
You can't go for a month not buying gas if you had to drive to work.
I didn't say a month. I didn't say.
I mean, you said as long as it takes. So as long as it takes,
it won't take a month. If
okay.
black folks didn't spend their money, it might take a week.
Okay, I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
Like,
but you still have to specify
when that money ain't coming in. See,
I agree with
the thing
that.
is, you have to have leverage when you go try to negotiate with people. If you're negotiating from a point of weakness, and I say this all the time, they ain't trying to hear you. They see you. They see you complaining. They see you marching, protesting, and doing everything else, but they don't actually see you. You know what I mean?
They don't feel it.
They don't feel it.
Right.
The only thing they feel is when you hit them pockets.
Right. Okay. Black Dollar Blackout. What's that? June 11th. Right. June 11th.
That weekend, man.
Black Dollar
we don't need to spend no money. Right.
Okay.
Unless it's with us.
Black Dollar Blackout, y'all. June 11th. We got the information on the website, so check it out. And we're gonna continue to talk about it. We're gonna continue.
Man.
I mean, there's no doubt about it, Nike, that finances is a way to get is the way to get attention. There's no question about that at all. I think then, we had to. You talk about the types of businesses that you will say that we're not trying to hit their pockets. You have to identify those at some point. When you talk about black businesses and things like that, you got to identify them. You know what I mean? We have to drill down and be a little specific.
Freedom takes sacrifice.
True. No question.
I mean?
All right. I had a random.
You don't.
I got a random night. You know what? No, we're gonna. We're gonna move on. We're gonna go to the topics. We're gonna go to the topics. You had a good one. Okay. Maybe I'll hit it at the end. Maybe, okay. Let's shoot with the top. All right. We have the 4. So we're gonna put them out here. And if someone wants to click on the link to join us, please do so. We have the hip hop generations. We have is our individualism pulling us apart? Do we really want reparations, or is it just talk? Finally, whatever happened to an eye for an eye? All right, Nike. Where you want to go with this, man? Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, just make sure we got it out there. All right, where you want to go, Nike? Where we hitting?
You know what? I want to get straight to it tonight, man. I want to go with the do we really want reparations, or is it just talk, like a talking point whenever some dumb shit go down, or when we mad, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because when is it actually, like, think about it. When except for this show, right?
Right.
You don't really hear people. I mean, might hear like whispers about it, or like, we need reparations, but you don't really hear people really talking about it. And I think it's really important that we don't let them get away with what they got away with. Mm-hmm. Everybody else got their payment or restitution. Mm-hmm. Black people did the most for this country as far as building it. Mm-hmm. And we never was paid for that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And some of us still ain't getting paid.
So your question is, when we talk about reparations, are we truly serious, or is it just talk?
Is it just talk, or
then what would make you say? What makes you question that? Is it the fact that, like you said, you don't hear it being talked about on the regular? Is that where you're getting it from?
I don't hear it talk. I mean, that should be on every black person's lips, man. Mm-hmm. Look, I know our history didn't start in the 1600s, right? Mm-hmm. But when we were brought to this country, we were human trafficked by the people in the United States. Mm-hmm. We were human trafficked by the people in the UK. So somebody has to, like, the bill is due, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what do you do when your bill is due?
Right.
When I used to
Right.
hustle,
Mm-hmm.
when the bill was due,
You had to
somebody
pay
got
it.
to pay,
Right.
right?
Now, Terry, I'll say this though. I don't know if people don't really want reparations. I think I've always been of the mindset that I think that you have to, people prioritize what's important. I mean, if violence is running amok and you're afraid to go to work and you're worried about your kids being outside, you're not going to spend a lot of time talking about reparations. You're going
Who's
to the
scared to go to
politicians.
work because of violence?
No. I'm just saying. My point is, look broadly. It's hope.
Oh, my man sound like he might have had a fire in the building. All right. Well, what I'm saying, like with the reparations, and everybody just hear me out. We have to force their hand at reparations. They're not going to volunteer it to us, right? And this goes back to, like, right now, we're trying to hire a civil rights litigation attorney to represent us, not just us, but us, right? We're trying to get them to. We're going to get what we need to get one way or another, because, like I said, the bill is due,
Mhm.
and that collection time, that collection is, yo, the bill is due. That's all I can say,
Right.
and it's going to be paid one way or the other.
But now, and sorry about that a minute ago, man. My smoke detector went off. I can't cook and.
Yeah, I told him you had a fire in the building.
Oh, you heard it?
Yeah, I heard it. Yeah,
Yo.
but
All
but
right.
but what I was saying is, like, the builders do, right, and they're
Mhm.
not going to voluntarily give us
But
reparations.
what I was about to go with it, Nike, and just to as Shai said, well, Shai said, I think folks don't think it will ever happen. I don't know if that's what is stopping it. I
But
think,
guess
like I
what? It
said,
won't never happen if we
it
don't press on it. If
see,
we
but
don't
again, like
press, it won't
if
happen.
right now though, um, like I said, we have to prioritize. Right now, violence is crazy. You're talking about, cities and counties having more violence than ever.
Let me ask you this.
So hold. Let me finish the thought. So
Hmm.
with that being said, if you're gonna approach a politician and say we need to do something about this now, you're probably gonna focus more on the violence and even the school system rather than reparations. And again, and that's not to say that it's not important, but again, I just think we have to prioritize, and I think that's what people do.
But guess what?
Mm.
Black folks can walk and chew gum at the same
True,
time.
true.
And here's another thing: reparations will solve a lot of violence. You might not think it will, because if if people okay, if people in the United States were given the money that they're owed,
Mm-hmm.
right? And this would go to, like, every black family, whatever, like that. That eases the pressure on people out here in the street, because I don't have to be angry all the time, because now I have a little bit of money coming in, right?
Right,
I don't have to pay taxes. I have other things that I can focus on instead of anger
right.
or poverty. See, that's
Well,
what
see, but
causes a
then,
lot of
but
the violence in our
right.
communities, and
Well,
people
see, but
forget.
but but the people that are out there, causing this violence, I don't know. They're not the one. I don't think they're the ones out there saying we need reparations. I think some
They're not.
people. But listen to this. I think a lot of people are out here with guns and causing violence. Because they can. They have a gun, and you and I argued about something stupid, and I
Right,
want to take your life. That I
right.
don't think that has anything to do with reparations. So I don't know. I
I
get what you're
just think,
saying
yeah,
as
yeah.
far
Hmm.
as it'll ease up, maybe ease up some pressures, financial pressures, but I don't know if that will drive down the violence, what have you.
And here's another thing: we can curb our own violence. once this Real Brothers movement, it's already taken off. But once it starts to really take off, take off. Once we'll have Real Brothers in every neighborhood. Real Brothers ain't gonna be taking that, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Real Brothers is gonna be making people be accountable.
Right. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
I'll never disagree with that. I definitely believe
do you
that.
remember the Black
Let me
Panthers?
finish this thought. I definitely, I will not disagree with that. That if we have, as you said, Real Brothers in the neighborhood, that won't drive down crime. I agree with that 1,000%. Let me just read what John Jay said. It depends on what you're giving in regards to solving our problems. If it's a combination of money, land, and jobs, then yes, but money alone won't do it. So what John is saying is that when you talk about reparations, if you're giving more than just money, that will help. And
job training, the whole nine.
I agree with that. You know, it can't just be money. It has to be a combination. You can even, talk about, as you mentioned one time before, making people tax exempt. You're exempt from paying taxes
like
for
that,
a number
man.
of years.
Just things to make it easier.
Make it a little
on
easier.
People.
Like you said, relieve some pressure. Right.
And look, here's something else I want to talk about. You remember I used to be out in them streets like that, right? These brothers just need somebody to change their focus. You know what I mean? You want to be a killer? Be a killer for us. You know what I mean? Kill people, or if you want to be a killer, be a killer protecting your neighborhood. Don't kill in your neighborhood.
Well, I don't know. We want to say.
I'm just saying. You get what I'm saying?
Right,
I'm not advocating
have a
violence.
Have a cause.
But what I'm put that aggression to good use. Is what I'm saying.
Right.
You know what I mean? True. Don't shoot me because I'm walking down the street and I happen to look up and stare at you for a minute because I don't know who you are.
Right.
Or you could be like my big bro Shice.
Can't
see real good, and you got to take that extra couple seconds to focus. You know what I mean? You want, especially in Philly, you wind up getting shot over something stupid like that. We gotta rechannel these brothers' energy, man. That's all
you know what,
is.
Mike? Perfect. I know that's a perfect segue into the next topic. What happened to an eye for an eye? What happened to an eye for an eye? Now, when we said that was going to be a topic, I said it would be interesting because I think we might view this a little differently. In the civilized society, in our society, I'll say, I don't think we want an eye for an eye. I don't think we want that because I think that when you start talking about an eye for an eye, you're talking about vigilantism, if I'm saying that the right way. I don't think we want because if you're gonna have a society that's based on an eye for an eye, then there's no reason for law and order because I make the laws. I might kill somebody for, you come and steal some food from my table and I come and kill you. So I don't know if I'm not for an eye for an eye.
That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm not talking about killing somebody for stealing.
Okay.
That's not what I'm saying.
What do you mean?
What I'm saying is you remember the Black Panthers? We need to protect our own. We need to protect our neighborhoods. We need to police our own neighborhoods. We need to build up our neighborhoods. That's all I'm saying. When I say eye for eye, don't let nobody come into our neighborhood with that bullshit. That's what I'm saying. Don't you know what I mean?
Or if they do, then what?
If they do, then they get what they get.
But what does that mean? Well, then you saying what I'm saying.
They get what they get.
Meaning that if somebody comes in your neighborhood and commits a murder,
not just coming in there, but if they come in there with that foolishness,
right? That's what I'm talking about, Nike. So someone comes into the neighborhood and commits a murder, the community murders them.
Pretty much.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't think
that's what I'm saying.
And that's my point, Nike.
I'm not advocating violence, but what I am advocating is self-defense. I think that every black man should own a gun. I think that every man should be trained how to use a gun.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think that would lessen. I think if everybody was armed, that would lessen
See,
What?
but Terry, the only thing that you still have to now. Patricia Trigger said, "Wow, I wish she would come on and let us know why she responded that way." But again, I think saying an eye for eye, then there's no reason for institutions. Then there's no need for the judicial system. There's no need for, there's no need for police. Now, I am for protecting your own, but I think at some point though, Knight, I think that would send us down the path of the Wild West. Meaning,
Stays.
someone no, hear me out, hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
Someone may, let's say this person, has a mental issue. They come into the neighborhood, they cause them, murder someone, and then the neighborhood rises up and exact justice on that person. I don't think
mental issues, that's different.
See, but how do you know that, Terry?
I'm not saying
but you're taking all that stuff off the
situation is the
table.
same.
But Terry, when you talk about somebody coming into your neighborhood with foolishness, you're taking the trial off the table, because that's the purpose of a trial. The trial says this person came in here and murdered someone. Why did they do it? Was it what should be the price that should be exacted on that person for that crime? If you're just saying the person comes in and kills someone, the neighborhood can just kill that person, then you're taking the judging of that person off the table, right?
No, they will be judged by their neighborhood. They would be judged by their community. I'm taking the policing. I'm taking the policing out of so for one thing, the prison industrial complex was specifically built for black bodies. That's first of all. So when you talk about the judicial system, you're not talking about a fair. If the system was fair, that's one thing.
Right.
If they harass white folks like they harass black folks, that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
If they were locking up other people at the same rate they lock us up, that's one thing. But we have to come to the point where we can police ourselves.
Now again, I believe that I know that we have to play a stronger role in what happens in our communities, whether it's policing, as you talked about before, community involvement. Bottom line, we have to do a better job. But again, I still don't see. I'm not for an eye for an eye. I'm not for someone coming into the neighborhood. To use your example, someone comes into the neighborhood speeding recklessly, run someone over. We pull that individual out of the car and kill him. And I think that, and I'm gonna finish this statement. I'm gonna read what somebody else said. I also believe that once you go down that path, Terry, then you create an environment when there's all these different neighborhoods exacting justice on each other. Well, you killed one of ours, now we got to kill one of yours.
No, I'm not talking about us. I'm not talking about us.
But again, you're still talking about human nature and people exacting justice.
I'm saying it in the same vein. Like, all right, do you remember when the KKK had that march in Philly?
Yes.
Right?
Last year sometime, right.
I'm talking about bullshit like that.
So what would you do? Okay, let me ask you this. In your world, Terry, this is a question.
Mm-hmm.
First, let me read this thing here. The problem is these young boys have that attitude about other black boys from 2 and 3 blocks over, and that's what I'm saying. That would be the problem. That would be exacerbated. The people that don't view our bodies and our communities the way that we do, they would take that same attitude and they'd be killing each other pretty much like they're doing now.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Let me ask the question then. Let me ask the question. In your world, the KKK comes in with a march and they're marching down the street with swastikas, marching through North Philly. What should happen to them?
Ain't gonna happen.
No.
You see
My
this
question
right?
is,
wait. You see
what
this
should
right
happen
here?
to them?
You see this right here? We should have a whole squad of people with this on, marching down there and saying,
if
you're
they
not coming
did
down here with that bullshit. That's what
Terry,
I'm saying. I'm talking about making people responsible.
But listen,
accountability.
But you didn't answer my question, Terry. Let's say they did, like they did in Philly. They marched from Walnut to Chestnut or whatever. If they took it upon themselves, the KKK, to walk down the middle of Broad Street and everybody with the black Real Brothers Live logo on their shirts, what should happen to those marching KKK members walking through the neighborhood?
They got to go. They got to go.
So in other words, then
we stand our ground. They're not going. What, they going to march through you?
Yes, no, but Terry, but if they're peacefully, Terry, if they're peacefully marching through North Philly, and the black people are out there, the black people don't want them there.
I wish
what should happen?
I would drive in my. If I heard that they coming to down marching down York Street, I'm in my car. I'm coming down there.
To do what?
They not marching, man.
To do what? Terry, you're not answering my question. What are you going to do?
Coming down there. That's
to
what.
do
That's
what?
They not marching down. They not marching down my block.
You avoiding my question.
I don't give a shit. Like
you avoiding my question. Terry, you're not answering my question. My question is, let me finish my question. You get in your car, you're driving down there, you see them marching. What do?
First, I ain't coming by myself. That's first.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I'm not coming empty-handed. That's another thing.
So you come with what? What do you come with?
Happens when I get down there, that's what happens. Whatever happens happens because they encroached on our neighborhood.
So in other words,
our community.
And I disagree with that. I think that's totally wrong.
You can
because then the other side of that is, Terry, they could say there are places that we can't go. That's what they do now. You ever heard of the sundown laws? Listen to this. The sundown laws, where there was sunset laws, there was some laws in some, let's just say, areas that were predominantly white, where they were saying if you were caught after sundown, they would lynch you. Do you think that that's okay? Because that's what you're saying.
Why is it okay for them to do it to us?
I didn't say any of it was okay.
But you're saying they
and that was wrong.
Right.
So was it right? Was it right for them to do that?
No, it's not right.
Well, so then how is it right for you to do that?
What?
How is it right for you to say that this group that I disagree with can't walk through my neighborhood because we're not going to allow it, or if they do, me and 10 of my buddies are going to not allow it? That's not right, and it's not right for them to do it. It's not right for them to do it either. That's my point. And that's what I'm saying. I mean, I think that when we talk about, eye for an eye, it opens up an entire different community, or entire different social justice system that we don't want. We don't want that. That's what the point of laws are. The point of laws are to say someone breaks a law, someone goes into a neighborhood and sets a place on fire, then that person has to be judged, whether it's a jury of 12 or a judge. That's why we have these institutions. We don't want the wild, wild west. I'm
telling you what, man, I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. That's all I'm saying.
What does that mean? Now, Pat, you need to come on. Pat said, "Phew." I don't know. Terry has an attitude that would never move the needle. All right, what is your response to that, Nike? Somebody said Terry has an attitude that would never move the needle. How do you respond to that?
I respond to that by saying I'm more like Malcolm X than Martin Luther King. I'm not a turn the cheek person.
See, okay, but
you got what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna just let people come and do and say whatever the fuck they want, and then I'm not gonna match that same energy. That's all I'm saying.
Well, see, I understand that, and listen to this though. I'm not saying that you just sit back and allow anyone to do just any old thing to you either. I'm saying that there still has to be consequences. But what I question is the way that you exact that justice onto that person. Someone comes down to your neighborhood, commits a crime, you call the police or whatever. You make sure that person faces justice. And I don't think that justice is saying that I have the right to judge that person and exact what I see to be the appropriate level of justice on that person. I think that there are laws that should be. Now, that is key, though, Nike. I do agree with that. The laws have to protect all people equally, but that's a different story. That's a different story. No,
Do
no,
they?
no, they don't. They don't. But I don't think
That's
the
my point.
answer is, Terry. I don't think the answer is that everyone gets a gun and then everyone becomes their own judge, jury, and executioner. I don't think that's the answer. That's
That's
the
not
wild
what I
wild
said.
west.
That's not what I
Well, it
said.
is because
That's
because
not what I
Terry,
said.
you
I
said,
said everybody should have a firearm in order to protect themselves.
but Terry,
And when
but
I
now,
say, so that means if you coming, like I said, I'm matching energy with energy. If you come to me correct, I'm gonna come to you correct. You come
but
with you come to me peacefully, I'm gonna come to you peacefully. But as soon as you cross that line, I'm gonna meet you at that line.
yeah, I get that. Now, but then what about the example that you gave, No Night? Because this takes it to a different realm totally. When you're talking about no one, the KKK not being allowed to peacefully march down your neighborhood, that is just I can't subscribe to that at all. I think that if you
For
do,
what? What would
we
be the
no,
point? What would be the
no, no, no,
point
no,
of
no,
them
no. Let me
walking
finish
down,
this.
say,
Let me
York
finish my
Street?
statement, Terry. Let me finish my statement. I think that if you follow the laws and you file for a petition to peacefully march down anywhere. This is a free country. If you file the proper paperwork to peacefully march and demonstrate, you're supposed to have the right to do that. And I don't think that any organization that disagrees with that point of view should be able to stop you from doing that. I totally disagree with that.
So let's say they were marching down York Street, right?
Right,
Or Diamond Street or any street, whatever.
right.
Somewhere in Philly. How do you think that's going to turn out, Stace?
Mm. Well, that's a different story.
How do you think that's going to?
Yeah,
I'm just being real. Like
right,
you, real brothers, right? Real brothers.
right.
I'm being real. Like I'm not sugarcoating it. I'm not. You know. I know this is the whole cancel culture bullshit and all that. Man. I'm a grown ass man.
See, but Terry, well,
I'm
how do you
telling
think
you
it would turn out?
how it is.
How would it turn
Not
out then? Like you just asked me, how do I think that would turn out? How do you think it would turn out?
brothers ain't having that, man.
So
Brothers ain't having that.
what would the brothers do?
Hmm?
What would the brothers do?
I think there would be a crowd that meets them where they stand. That's
But
what I think.
so the group, now let me ask you then. So this group is marching down Diamond Street with their swastika signs. A bunch of brothers come out and not allow it. Is that right? Should that happen, or should they be allowed to go as long? You said,
Damn right it
no,
happens.
listen,
Just
no,
like Charlottesville. Just
no,
like
no, no, Terry.
Charlottesville.
You said that you match force with force. If these
Right.
people didn't touch anyone, they're peacefully marching through a neighborhood. They didn't
Mhm.
they didn't touch anyone. But now you're saying you're not matching them with force. You're creating a problem because you say
No,
you would
I'm not
attack
creating
them.
a problem. All I'm saying is if they were marching down, let's say Diamond Street, right?
Right.
And brothers gonna be coming out of the woodwork. So
Right.
when they
But that doesn't make it
marching,
right though, Nike.
they gonna be like when they're marching, they're gonna be met with a crowd.
Right.
And the only way for them to keep marching is to make their way through that crowd.
So in
Are
other
you
words, stay in
stepping
your
to the
neighborhood.
side? Oh, wait. Are you stepping to the side?
Who,
Are
me?
you stepping to the side?
Is that a question for me?
Yeah, that's a question.
No, yeah,
Are
no, yeah.
you stepping to the side?
Yes, if they're peacefully marching, they have the right to
I'm not
march.
stepping to the side.
See,
I'm
but
standing my ground, and you got to either go that way, go back where you came from, but you're not coming this way.
so in other words,
I'm not moving.
so in other words, saying Terry, you saying that people need to stay in their neighborhood. People need to
No,
stay.
that's not what I'm.
Yeah, but that's
Oh
what you're
my
saying,
God,
Terry.
man, that's
Because
not
if
what I'm
they have the
saying.
right,
Do you know
Terry. No, let me ask you, Terry.
KKK
Do you
and all
have
that
the right?
skinhead
But
shit? Do you know what that represents?
Terry, do you have the right? Do you have the right to venture into any neighborhood that you want to? Do you have the right
Yeah,
to
I do.
venture?
Yeah,
Okay, right.
I
So
do.
don't they have that same right?
Because I'm not going to nobody else's neighborhood talking about you know black supremacy or you know they people should be gone
But do you have
talking
the right
about
to say
hanging
that?
people and all
But,
that shit.
but
Huh?
Terry, but do you have the right to say that? If you wanted to go to a suburban neighborhood, if you wanted to go to a suburban neighborhood,
Why would I do that? Why would I
listen,
do that?
let me finish my question. If you wanted to go to a suburban neighborhood and talk about what you think is your truth, that black people are superior than any other race, Do you have the right to do that?
I never say that though.
You didn't answer my question.
I've never that has never crossed my
I
lips.
didn't say that. Do you have the right to
But
say that?
you're
though?
implying that though.
No, I asked you a question.
You can't take a scenario that wouldn't happen because I'm not that type of person.
But
I'm not racist, and I'm not going to let anybody else be racist.
What I'm trying to get at is free speech, though, Terry. You're a proponent. You always talk about free speech. So a person has a right to say what they want to say, whether you agree with it or not.
I believe people got a right to say whatever they want,
wherever they want to say it. Also,
there's consequences and repercussions to saying whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean,
you want to let somebody's all right. So everybody get to say what they want. Somebody come up to you, Stace, just like. Remember you said you was at your job way back, and the Chinese boy said something about nigger.
Right.
What did you do? You just let it. You got the right to say whatever he want, right?
He does, but I said something.
Right.
Yeah.
That's my point.
But I didn't swing on him. I didn't
say nothing about swinging on nobody.
But you said you would get in your car, you wouldn't go empty-handed, and you're gonna stand in their way, and you're gonna force them to go a different way. You're inciting violence. You're talking about violence. You said brother's not gonna allow that to happen.
I'm standing my ground.
And if they attempt to go around you,
so if you let people walk over you, that's what they're gonna do, Stace.
Yeah, but this is where we disagree because I think that there are ways to handle that. I don't think.
I'm more of down the Black Panther vein of things. Like, I'm not just gonna let shit happen in my neighborhood, or like I live around white folks right here. Mm-hmm. They know not to come and fuck with me. Mm-hmm. They know not to come fuck with me.
Okay, all right.
You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna move on, Knight. I understand what you're saying. All right, we're gonna move on. We got hip hop generations. We have is our individualism pulling us apart. Those are the two we have left. All right. So let me choose this one, Knight.
All right.
Is our individualism pulling us apart? And this is where that came from. I was having a conversation a little while ago, and what I'm kind of asking is the way we raise our kids. Are we raising our kids and setting ourselves up to remain individuals? And this is what I mean by that. We teach our youth, our young ones, to learn how to be self-sufficient. Meaning, we tell our little boys, learn how to cook, learn how to take care of yourself, so that you don't need a wife or a woman. Right? That's what we tell them. We tell our little girls the same thing. Learn how to do for self so that you don't need a mate. You don't need a man. By saying that, are we training our kids to not need the opposite race? And what are the consequences of that? I mean, I'm sorry, the opposite sex, to need a man or to need a woman. And what are the consequences of that as it relates to our family? What are your thoughts, Knight?
Well, I can only hit this question out of the experience I had with my kids, right? Mm-hmm. I've always raised my kids to do for self,
right?
Like especially my daughter. I don't want my daughter having to need no man,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
She's going to medical school or and all this stuff. If you ain't got your shit together, why she wanna need somebody that ain't doing what they gotta do? Like, well, that just makes kids or your kid be self-sufficient. That's not saying that you won't be attracted to someone or fall in love with someone, but that just means that you ain't gonna be taking no crap from nobody,
right?
You know what I mean? Like, because you can stand on your own 2 feet.
Now, what the other thing that I was wondering though, Knight, is that one of the things that and tell me when you think that when I say something you disagree with. One of the things that I think keeps a marriage together is a need. It's a need. When we look at the way our parents were, maybe generations before, they stayed together. Part of it was because they needed each other. The man didn't know how to take care of himself for the most part. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't mean they would just fall off the face of the earth, but a man didn't cook. A man wasn't rearing the kids alone. That wasn't his strength. A man didn't keep house. So he needed a partner. He needed a woman that did that other side. Now, if you look at it from a lady's point of view, the lady, now she wasn't in the workforce then. She didn't bring food home. She needed a man to do that other thing that she didn't do. By us telling our kids to do all those things alone, are we making our marriages and our relationships based more on a want versus based on a need? And then does that make it easier for us to say, well, I don't want it anymore, so I'm done?
A relationship should be based on want. I don't want to be with nobody just because I need them. You know what I'm saying?
Wait
No,
a minute.
I don't want to be with nobody like I can't. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but how would it be?
Wait, if you're talking about a relationship, right?
Right.
And I know what you're referring to. That's kind of like old school. You know what I mean?
It is. It is.
Where
you
the
needed
women
each other.
Stayed home and took care of the kids. Took
Right.
care of the, but in this day and age, you need two incomes. You know what I mean? You
Right.
need to be able to work together. Like it has to be, if it's going to be a dependency, it has to be a mutual dependency.
Okay, now that's a good word. Okay, dependency. So, but then with that, even using that word, Terry, like I said, that's a good word, dependency. If we don't depend on each other because we can stand on our own, then you know what I mean. And this is just a conversation. Like, I mean, don't I'm just kind of it sounds crazy, but listen. But Terry, this is the question though.
You get your male chauvinist on right now.
How is that being a male chauvinist though? What I'm trying to get at is with us doing things the way that we're doing it now, will we continue to see the divorce rate and families not remaining together because there is no dependency? We're just together because we like being together, and then when we're tired of it and don't want it anymore, you're done with it because there's no dependency.
You have that exactly backwards.
What do you mean? Like, okay, go ahead. Well, Pat says strong, too strong. Strong or too strong? Look, what does she mean by that?
I don't know.
Hey, Pat, you got to come on.
Come on in and tell us what you're talking about.
Right.
Hey, but no, Stace, you got that exactly backwards.
What do you mean, Nike?
Because the divorce rate and all of that is going up because of dependency.
What do you mean?
So you got a brother that's working, he taking care of this chick, blah blah blah. She claimed he love her. He claimed he love her. Oh, but he got laid off yesterday. Now she looking at him, and then in 6 months he hadn't been able to find a job, or he ain't got the same job, or he ain't making the same money, or it took him a while to get another job, so their bills are behind. You know what I mean?
Right.
So now she looking at him a little sideways, like, you know what I mean? Women are concerned about stability.
Pat said, "How did she come in?" Nike, can you put the link up there real quick?
Yeah, I did.
Hey, Pat. Yeah, he's gonna put the link up. All you have to do, Pat, is in that. Click on that link, and it'll bring you on. But Terry, don't forget your thought, man. You got to finish that. You got to finish that thought.
No. So
click
what
on
I'm
the link,
saying
Pat.
is, that dependency. If she's totally dependent on him because of income or that kind of deal, as soon as that income is gone, she looking like,
wow.
You know what I mean, man, like now, women like stability.
Right.
They are a different type of creature. They like to be. They want to be known. They want to know that they're taken care of. They don't want to have to worry about, when we gonna get our next meal or when we gonna get our next check. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, now the scenario that you laid out, Nike, I think that I told Pat to click on that link. Terry just put the link out there, Pat. All you have to do is click on it.
Oh,
and it'll bring you in there.
Put it on the what you call it, John?
On the in the chat. He's gonna put it in the chat.
Yeah.
see, I think the scenario that you put out there, Nike, might have been a little different than what I was thinking about. Because you're talking about a person that, like you said, gets laid off or something like that and can no longer provide.
But that's that dependency.
See, but I don't know if that's what I was referring to though. There's Pat. Is that Pat?
Yeah.
We're gonna bring Trish on.
There's Pat. Hey,
Pat.
What's up, Pat?
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Hello.
Well, we saying something that, it's good to see you, Pat. It's good to see you.
Hello, everybody.
So what we saying something that was way off base. What did you mean, Pat? What's your response? Oh, you know what?
Thank you.
I know you went back in the time machine. Tell me you went back in the time.
Can you mute your phone?
I know you went back in the time machine. Turn your volume down.
All right, mute your phone. Yeah, can you? There you go. Yeah, we're getting a lot of feedback, Pike. Right?
Turn your volume down a little bit.
We're
getting a lot of feedback, Pike.
Yeah, Pat, can you hear me?
We're getting a lot of feedback, Pike.
Yeah, you have to mute your laptop.
Oh, how do I mute? Okay, hold on.
Turn the mic. Yeah.
Okay, let's unmute her. We're gonna unmute you now. Hold on, Terry. Can you unmute her?
Yeah.
All right, Pat. Hold on. We're gonna try to get you on. It won't mute. Oh, she muted her own mic, didn't she?
Yeah.
Pat,
unmute yourself.
Yeah, unmute your your volume has to be real low.
Like didn't she? Yeah.
There you go.
Pat, unmute yourself. Yeah, unmute your volume has to be real low.
It has to be real low. Okay.
Yeah. There you
Okay.
Go. Unmute yourself. Yeah, unmute your volume has to be real low.
It has to be real low. Okay.
There you go.
Yes, we're getting that feedback. We're getting the echo.
Your volume has to be real low. It has to be real low. Okay.
Yeah,
turn your volume. Just turn your volume down. No, hit your volume button and just turn the volume down. Turn your volume. There you go.
Is that better?
Better.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Now I can't hear you.
Yes, we can hear you. Okay.
She can't hear us though.
Can you hear us?
Now I can't hear you.
Yes, we can. There you go.
Okay.
That's good. That's good.
Perfect.
No feedback. All right.
All right. So, what are your thoughts, Pat?
On which title?
Let's do the last one. When we talking about the question was, is our individualism affecting our families? You know, is it pulling us apart? The fact that we are teaching our kids to be individuals and not need a woman or a man. You know, how does that affect us? What are your thoughts?
To be individuals and not need a woman or a man. You know, how does that affect us? What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I think we should raise our children to be totally self-sufficient no matter what. I didn't raise my son to depend on a woman. I raised my son to be able to wash, clean, and do everything for himself. If a woman comes in his life and she's able to do that and more, then that's a plus for him. But I didn't raise him to say, you know what, I can do all this, what I need you for. I didn't raise him for that.
Okay.
You know, and same thing for my daughters, to be totally self-sufficient. If a man can give you whatever a man gives you, he shouldn't have to. He should do it because he wants to.
Right.
That should be extra.
Right.
Okay.
You know,
now,
and that.
So my question becomes, if we no longer need each other, if there's not a need, does that also contribute to us not staying together because we don't need each other? If you need something, if it's a need, you have to think 3 and 4 and 30 times before you get out of it because there's a need. The fact that we teach each other not to need each other, does that in itself play a role in our families not remaining together?
In itself, play a role in our families not remaining together. In itself,
there has to be a need. You understand what I'm saying? There has to be a need, but I don't think families value a need as much as they should. Like, once, like if you're together, you're a unit. If it's just one man, one woman, you're a couple, you're still a unit. It doesn't need to be a man and a woman and 1,000 kids to be a unit. You two together, you're a unit.
But Pat,
But of course you need each other or you wouldn't be together.
right.
But you should be each other out.
You should what?
You should be able to balance each other out.
True.
Right.
True. Terry, were you about to ask a question?
It's like I don't want a woman to actually need me. I want her to be with me because she wants to be with me. You get what I'm saying? Because everything could be rosy. If I got a certain amount of money, or if I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and everything's good, I don't want our relationship to be based on that. I want our relationship to be based on mutual love and respect. Based on that.
Then if you meet someone like that, then that's not a good fit for you if all she wants is your money and what you can do for her.
Right.
Well, that's
what is she doing for herself?
But that's what I'm saying. That's where I think Stace was talking about a woman needing a man.
I mean, and this is just a question. I'm not saying that this is my. I'm not saying it's my perspective. I want to get Pat said Stace get in the cave somewhere. But I mean, I'm just what I'm doing is just looking at relationships and looking at how our relationships are and how we raise our kids versus the way that it was before. Families stayed together longer before because there was a need there. You needed that person because there were some things that you couldn't do by yourself, so you had to be there. So that was part of my question. I mean, are we the way that we're doing things now? Is it setting it up so that families will continue to not remain together? Because again, it's just a want, and it's real easy to cast a want to the side versus casting something to the side that's going to hurt you because you need it. A want to the side versus casting something to the side that's going to hurt you because you need it.
I agree.
A want to the side versus casting something to the side that's going to hurt you. I think we got that. You agree with that?
All right.
I agree.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Pat. Thank you for joining us.
Coming on.
It's good to see you, Pat. Thanks for coming on. All right. We're going to slide Pat out. That was nice.
Yeah. So, I get that.
Yeah. And again, I'm not saying that, because we all teach our kids the same way. We teach our kids to be able to stand on their own and we say that not need anyone. But again, that mindset within itself, does it also, like I said, I think that it contributes to, families saying, okay, I don't have to be here. Basically, I don't have to be here because I don't need to. And again,
do you really want somebody to be with you because just because they need you, or do you want somebody who there that cares about you, wants to be with you because they genuinely, have feelings for you, and they genuinely, they need you in another, they need you spiritually and emotionally, but not, anything else.
And again, that's a different type of need. I mean, I think it's a combination of both. But again, what I was pondering is the way that we rear our kids and what we tell them now. I think, society is going to continue to go down this path where families don't remain together because, again, I don't need you. I'm here for a little while because I want to be here. But then after that, I can see later on the marriage rate will continue to decline, or, because it's all based on want versus a need. And again, I just want to say, I'm not saying that I subscribe to that. It was just a thought. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I kind of disagree though. You know what I mean? I just think that, if you're getting into a relationship based on need, a lot. If that's the case, then I'm sure the relationship won't work out because there flows and ebbs to every relationship. It's not good all the time.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. All right, Nike. We got one more, man. We have hip hop generations. All right.
Oh, we got two more actually.
No, we don't.
Did we go over the reparations one
Yeah,
already?
that was the first one where we started, right?
Oh, my bad. You know I'm sick.
You sick. Yeah.
You know I ain't feeling
Yeah,
good.
you're not feeling too well, right? Mentally. All right.
Yeah, all
Hip
right.
hop generations. And really,
Hip hop generations. My
I was
man.
having a conversation with Shice, and we were talking about how, you know, nowadays, or I wish I remembered the conversation that we had. We were talking about how the effects that hip hop had on society, you know, whether it's cultural, whether it's, you know, society as a whole, the effects that it had on the outwardly facing, you know, community now versus the impact that it had before. I wish Shice could come on to kind of review this conversation that we had. What are your thoughts, Nike? What are your thoughts on that, man? You know,
I gotta go way back, man, because you know I'm an old head, I'm old school. I remember going to my cousin's house in New York, Angela and Regina, and they live in Queens. They used to live in Queens, and that was the first time I ever heard the Sugar Hill Gang.
Wow.
I think I was like maybe 10, 11, 12, somewhere around in there. That shit changed my life. You know what I mean? Like, I had never, before that, I was into like funk, you know, Rick James, Lakeside.
That was all that was there. That's right.
All that kind of stuff. And then you know, we was at a handball park. They played handball out there.
Right.
And the boy came on with the big radio and everything. Came in,
Raheem.
and I heard that. Doom,
right.
Doodle, and then he started rapping. I was like, "Yo, what is that?" Like, you know what I'm saying? That changed my whole.
Right? Yeah. But also, like, think about back then, especially in our formidable years, when we were coming up. You know, we had different types of music that served different purposes. Now, one of the examples that I was talking about with Shice is that we had Public Enemy talking about Black Power. And Malcolm X and Reverend Farrakhan and Stop the Violence. That was on our forefront. That was in our minds. I remember being in parties, Terry, with DJing, and when somebody get ready to rumble, we like, yo, take that outside. Remember, we used to do that night. We would be in New and Choose or wherever we hung. Somebody start arguing and getting ready to rumble. We're like, yo, take that outside. We weren't trying to hear that for the most part.
Right.
Little later on down the line, like he said, now you have NWA. Exactly. It was This Is My Crew. You know,
but I can't front. I was rocking with that gangster rap when I was young. You know what I mean? Because that's where my head was at that time.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Right. But think of the influence then. Think of the influence that music had on us and the way we acted. Think about LL. That was the example that I gave to Shice. LL came in with I Need Love. That slowed the whole thing down. Big Daddy Kane. They was the smooth operator. That also
but then he also had Jingling Baby too. You know what I mean?
He did.
You know what I
mean? Now he had all that stuff.
Big bro.
But having Big Daddy Kane and LL, it also made us relate to women a little differently, even at it as it related to hip hop, NWA and stuff. Dice, what's up, man?
What's good?
What's happening, man? I hope I didn't jack that conversation up too much.
You were, you giving a timeline, but I always, want to be clear with people when we say that Public Enemy stage and all that was very short. That was a lot shorter than we really want to think about, because you're talking about Run DMC, and then LL, and then right after that was the Chuck D's, KRS Ones, the Rakims.
Right.
Not too long after that was NWA.
Right.
So I'm gonna say, like, when I was at the Spectrum, and North Philly, South Philly be wilding out, like what you were saying, Public Enemy and KRS One, all of them, like, they turn the lights on and be like, let's stop the violence, self-destruction mantra was out, and it was settled down.
Right.
Next summer, NWA comes straight out of Compton, gangster.
Came right back.
North Philly, South Philly forced the Spectrum down.
That's right.
So it didn't even last that long. That whole, we rocking the green, black, and red, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So,
but we did have a period where it
we
was
did.
about black
We
consciousness.
did. We definitely had a period. I just want to say,
Yeah, I mean,
you can't
we had
over
the Tribe Called
romanticize how
Quest,
long it was.
Jungle Brothers and all them.
Right.
Tribe
Right.
Called
Backpackers.
Quest. You know what I mean?
Yo,
The
see,
backpack,
you got to
yeah,
talk
right.
about maybe 86, maybe 87 to 89. By 90,
it changed.
it was
Right.
very, and I was in the service, so I'm looking at, you know, cats was coming from all over the country. NWA, Ice Cube,
That's right.
all of that was having a bigger impact.
Right, clicking up, right.
And then
But I mean,
Terrence
you also
One,
had stuff
he
like
wasn't
My
doing the
Hoes and My
numbers
Lawn,
NWA
you know what
was
I mean?
doing.
Right.
Terrence One wasn't doing those numbers.
Right. They were starting to wane.
But you had stuff like De La Soul, The Tribe,
Right.
you know,
So
Jungle
you
Brothers.
did have a nice mix.
They were there.
Who was just on, you know, they was hip hop. They had Chuck D, Black Empowerment. They had NWA, Gangsta. Again, that's like this.
Right. Right.
And then let's go forward. Today, I was telling Stacey, like, yo, these cats don't even call it hip hop.
Right.
Like younger cats, they'll be like, you know, back when Gucci Mane was out, they'd be like, we trap, this trap music.
I couldn't.
And then you will hear rappers say, I'm not a rapper, I'm a trapper.
Wow.
They was moving away from even calling hip hop. In the day, they calling it drill music in Chicago, Brooklyn, and even Philly kids are doing it.
Right.
That's
where
why
they get
really stop messing with really hip hop, man. I don't even listen to a lot of that. Like only ones that I probably listen to now, is the old heads like Jay,
right?
You know what I mean, Buster, and all them.
They from a different era.
But if we talking like hip hop generation,
J. Cole and you know, what's the other boy?
Kendrick.
Kendrick. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, like I can listen to them, but a lot of that other stuff, that mumble rap, remember and all that, I can't.
But if we're talking about hip hop generation, how the culture reflects and affects, you got to pay attention to. Look at Philly numbers. We passed Chicago. We was like, yo, Chicago got 500 bodies, and they doing this drill music where they all in the video talking about they ops and naming who they kill or who they going to kill. Now Philly's doing it, and Brooklyn's doing that, and we got 600 bodies now.
Right. Yeah.
We got close to 600 bodies watching how the hip hop generation is being affected and reflected their times.
Music, yeah.
But see, that's part of the machine, though. See, because what do you see when you see rappers now? A majority of rappers now. They got the big dookie chains on, diamonds everywhere, driving Bentleys, this and that, and this and that. So that's further incentive for people. I think that makes younger kids have what they call.
I mean, inspired to that
self-esteem issues,
right?
Because
I got it.
They chasing bags to try to be like them.
But I think that
was Rakim. Rakim was dressing like a drug dealer.
But I think, that part of that, or a large part of that, though, what you just mentioned, Nike, is as a result of where we are as a society. We are more violent and less caring society. You know, we don't respect life as much as we did then, or the finality of it, you know, death. But not only that, I think that the young people now, you know, it's whatever goes. You know, the society changed. And I think that's kind of what Shikes is saying. The society, the music is also reflecting where society is. Yeah. You know, people are it's whatever now is taking bodies and all that other kind of stuff. So now it's also being reflected in the music.
It's saying, you want to know what the spirit of
and it's not just the music.
It's not just the music.
No, it's a saying that says if you want to know the spirit of the people, look at the music and the art they create.
Right.
So we're not talking about everybody, but when you're talking about where those young people are at, those specific young people that's volatile. Look at what the beat comes on, you put them in the studio, this is what's going to come out of them.
Right.
Because they rapping about what they see.
Right.
They rapping about how they living. Right. So that's what I'm saying. There's an underlying issue. And it's not the music per se.
Now,
but it's the reasons that these kids are making that music.
Right.
You know
but listen to this though.
So
that's really
how they're living.
So what it becomes is a self-fulfilling process. It becomes self-fulfilling because and I guess that's the case that was always the case with hip hop.
Always
Hip
been
hop
the
was
case.
reflecting hip hop reflected the streets, and then in turn the streets reflected what they were hearing. So it's like the chicken and the egg argument.
It's is
Nah, I
is
don't think
life
so.
imitating art, is art imitating life?
Exactly right.
That's
It's
what
both.
it is. It's art imitating life.
Well, but
Mm.
at the same time though, Knight, we can't also, like Terry Shai said, when NWA came out, we weren't acting the way they did on the West Coast. When they came out talking about Crips and
They were
Bloods,
talking about what they were living.
and then we
Right. But
started.
that didn't make us go out and shoot nobody.
But it
That didn't
did.
make,
It
when I
did.
listen
But
to
it did, Terry.
He just said that.
Terry, that's what I'm telling you. While I was in the service, it's where I started seeing people from other cities claiming Crip and Blood.
Exactly.
because that's what they was into in reality.
So the art.
get what I'm
No,
saying?
they didn't have Crips and Bloods in Arkansas. So they saw the music and heard the movie, and then somebody moved there.
That's right. That's right.
Somebody moved there,
That's right.
and then started that set. But it was easy for somebody to start that because it was popularized
That's right.
by NWA,
Correct.
Right.
and by
I got
seeing
Yeah.
colors.
Cube
Right, I
said
got
that in
you.
one of the songs. He
Right.
said, now you even have drive-bys in, what did he say? Remember in St. Louis? That's what he was talking about. He was saying they didn't have that stuff there. They pumped the music there, and now the people are reflecting the music that they're hearing. Now they're having drive-bys in places that didn't have.
Let's go back a little bit, right? Or a lot. Before the crack hit, there was a struggle, right? In poverty. So you're talking 81 when the Grandmaster Flash made The Message. All you heard was struggle and poverty in that song. Like hip hop prior to that was just throw your hands in the air.
Right.
So somebody said, well, let's talk about something. And the first record talking about something, The Message was just about struggle. It wasn't glorifying gangster life because you didn't have the crack or it didn't hit yet.
Right.
And as soon as the crack hit, and
then you had
start
Coogee
living
Rap.
that gangster life,
Then you had
hey,
Coogee
and
Rap.
it was what it was. You know what I mean?
Nice, nice.
So art again is reflecting life, and life is reflecting art.
Right.
And if you knowing this, because I always say to people when they try to tell me music doesn't influence, I said, first of all, you're not around young people.
Right.
If you're around young people, they're going to tell you what rappers are saying or what they see on social media before they can tell you about any author, any activist, or their parent or teacher is saying.
That's right.
But
so it's very influential.
Watch this. If we change the way these kids are living, if we can touch these kids, if we can give them a purpose, then the music will change.
Absolutely. Because
I'm
they're
saying?
the ones that are making the music. You're right.
Right.
That's
so
the difference.
once again, that's a reflection on our own community.
True.
Once we change their perception of their what they're living, right? Once we give them a purpose, once we give them education, once we give them a trade, once we give them a way to make a living, then that music will change because then
they're reflecting something different.
Right. You talking about making it now. You talking about positivity. You talking you know what I'm saying? Like so
because going back again, when you could have a KRS-One, a Chuck D and a Rakim, you got to figure the hip hop generation came right after the civil rights generation.
That's right.
You talking about the 60s, and then hip hop was birthed in the Bronx in the 70s, and then popped off early 80s. So we wasn't that far from the black church, black activism, and all that. So it's easier for us because we was listening to all that. Jesse Jackson was out. Minister Farrakhan was very prominent, and is very prominent. And we knew Malcolm and Martin. So when somebody could come by as Kane or Run DMC made a record, I'm black and I'm proud. I'm proud to be black, yo. That resonates.
Right.
That resonates because it was still in our community, in our society, in our culture. If all you hear is banging out and drugs and all that kind of and sex, hyperviolence, hypersex, that's what you're going to put on track because you think that's what's cool. And when somebody starts talking about black stuff and we start calling people fake woke and hotep, we make being black corny.
Right. Yeah. All right. Hey, Shice, man, thanks for joining us, man. I wish you'd have came early. We'll be talking about that relationship thing, but we'll get you back a little later.
I was there. I must have, I was in. I heard all of it.
I just want to ask you a quick question before you get off. Well, what did you think about our topic about an eye for an eye?
as it said, I commented in which comment said Stacey's making great points because, and you were making great points. If I'm hearing you're right, you're saying I'm not going to be a doormat. I'm going to protect my household and my family.
That's all I'm saying.
And if Stacey's also saying, well, we can't get too radical with that because that becomes lawless and it gives you like the old West sound.
Right.
Like everybody's thinking it in their own hands.
I'm talking about being respectful.
Yeah, I'm saying I heard both of your points.
Right.
In there.
It's a combination of the two.
We can't go too far with it.
Or either one.
Right.
Because once we start getting the I and Y mentality, you will be on I'm protecting house and family. It's always going to be people mentally unbalanced,
right.
radicalized that philosophy. And you will get, like, soon as you feel like somebody messing with your car, you're going to run down and lay them down.
Right.
No,
that's not the law.
But that's what it becomes. That's what we're saying. It becomes that, though, Terry.
That's not eye for eye either.
But what we're saying is it becomes that because you're still dealing with human nature.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Controlling, they can't control themselves. So let me finish. So you do something that you and I might think is not that important. That person is going to go to the next level. And now you're talking about, like you talked about, gangs because one block is protecting this block. And then you have.
Let's not even talk about gangs. Let's talk about the fact that we got so many undiagnosed mental issues in the black community. Do we really? Part of the reason why we got this problem now with our youth is because the drugs. They self-medicate their drugs. You're not making rational thoughts if you zannied up and all dusted up, and you got a gun on you, and you're listening to the music.
Right.
So you're talking about making an eye for an eye culture with people that are. It's too much unbalanced out here, and I'm just speaking about our community.
Right.
But Shice, the reason for that unbalance is they trying to ease that pain. We got to try.
Exactly.
It's on us to try to alleviate some of that pain.
But the pain
you would have to do one before you do the other.
Right. That's what I'm saying. The pain is still there, so you can't in this current state say eye for an eye. When there's so much pain in it, which is what Shice was about to go to with that pain out there, because then you're going to have those people that are going to take it and move it where you didn't intend it to go. But once you open that up, you can't pull it back.
Can I make this point real quick?
Yes.
I used to carry a gun, right?
I remember when
I carried a gun, every confrontation, I would go here. My hand would move here. Even if it don't come out, it would go here. It wasn't until I made a point to say spiritually to just trust God and get the guns out my house, get the guns out my household and not walk around. Then I started moving different.
Right.
Now I'm more diplomatic
when
a confrontation come. Like, okay, what we getting ready to do, fam?
Right.
We ain't doing that. And just meet it with strength and confidence, but not like Terry, you did say I'm matching your energy.
Exactly.
So when I had it on me, I was matching the energy.
You know me my whole life. That's what it is. Like,
yeah, but that's not right. That's not
what
I'm
telling you. I had to learn not to match the energy, to kind of be a conductor to move the energy. If it's going to be, it's going to be. Right. But it don't have to be if I don't match your energy.
Right.
What I'm talking about
if we gonna practice what we say we gonna practice. We real brothers about our community.
Right.
So every time one of my brothers pop off, if I see him as my brother and not a nigga, then I'm gonna give him a little grace. I'm gonna give him grace,
that goes back to our whole mantra of the Black Code, right? The Black Code says that our communities, we supposed to take care of our brothers, we supposed to take care of our sisters, we're supposed to take care of our families.
So how do you implement that? I mean, so Terry, so what you're talking about is getting the ones that Shice talking about, the ones that are on drugs and out here wilding out that don't care, to try to get them to subscribe to the Black Code. It's not going to happen. It's too many people until you address that other issue.
I'm never going to say it can't happen.
And I'm not saying that.
I'm never going to say that.
Terry. And I'm not saying that it can't.
If I can change.
But what I'm saying is we're not ready for an eye for an eye right now because you had too many people out there that are not ready for that. In order to have that type of society, you need responsible people that can say, this isn't the scenario where I need to go get my gun. This could be handled differently. You don't have enough people that are doing it. You have some people that are just out of control. That emotion kicks in,
and like, people, though. That's what I'm saying.
But those people exist, and too many of them exist. And once you do that, you're talking about the wild, wild west. Hey, Shice,
Solution. Let's
you're
go
saying because
solution.
there's a
we're
few
gonna listen
wild.
to Shice.
Wait.
And then we're gonna let him
So
off.
you're saying,
Go
you're
ahead.
saying because there's a few
Not
wild
a few,
rabbits
too
out
many.
here.
Too many.
Well,
Too many.
a lot. So there's a lot of wild rabbits out here. So you're saying that we shouldn't protect ourselves because
Who
they
said
out
that?
there acting
Who said
crazy.
that? Who said that?
You
No,
just-
that's not what I
you
said.
just said-
Nice.
No.
No, that's not what I said.
So let's go
You want to say
solution.
something in
I
closing,
think
Shice?
we go solution, and you know me as I'm an artist / activist, and I use my art as activism. Like if I go to talk to young people, I'm coming with the books, I'm coming with the lyricism, and I'm coming with stories and examples. And if I'm around you enough, you'll see how I move. What Terry said early, we need real brothers out here everywhere because the
Right,
music
that's all
will
I'm
change.
saying,
Wait a minute. The music will change when your mind and spirit change. The spirit and mind is reflected in the music. You want to change it? They got to read more different books. They got to hear different. They got to hear different songs. They got to see it, and then it becomes part of their culture that starts to come out.
So they can
and then
see
you
that
will
it's
hear
possible.
more rock hymns.
And
Right.
we gotta
KRS-One
flood
coming out in
our
North
neighborhoods
Philly.
with love. We gotta flood
All right,
our
Shice,
neighborhoods with
we
love. and
appreciate
get
you
these
coming on, man.
brothers-
Be safe, Shice.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, man. We gotta
so-
flood our neighborhood with love, man, and get these brothers. Like a lot of these cats, man, they ain't got no real love in their life, man. They living day to day, man. They don't know where their next dollar coming from.
True.
I'm saying we gotta put our arms around these brothers. Yeah, they wild.
Agreed.
I was wild,
Mhm.
but I'm never gonna say that we can't never change this.
Yeah,
because
agree.
I know
Agreed.
for a fact that I changed.
Yeah, people
know
can
what I'm
change. Absolutely. All right, Nike, time to wind it down, man. All right, I'm gonna go first. No, matter of fact, you go first, Nike. In closing, what you got, man?
In closing, all right. In closing, wait, check it out. This is the new thing, right?
Now available.
We're working on the website now to get everything together. We got Dickie shirts. They're gonna be $35. Of the long sleeve Dickies is gonna be 30. What is the
37.
37? Then we got the polo shirts is gonna be what is it, 25?
We'll put the pricing list out there.
We're gonna put the prices out there, but it ain't gonna kill nobody.
Right.
We got hats. Yo, speaking of hats, if you're tired of seeing those MAGA hats everywhere, get you a real brothers hat to show them that you ain't with that.
Right. Okay.
Real brothers, we gonna match that energy. You see,
now, that's cool.
You know how I'm like matching the energy?
That's cool.
We gonna match that energy, that MAGA energy.
With
we
real
gonna match
brothers
that
energy.
with real brothers energy.
I'm cool with that.
We got hats and all that.
All right. Okay.
You know
Appreciate it. So wait a minute. You want to give your mantra? Go ahead. You looked up. Go ahead. Hit it.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. I just want to thank y'all for coming to our digital neighborhood, and always remember, love is the new black.
Absolutely. Boom. All right. Once again, y'all, everything Terry said. The merchandise is now available. We have some of the product in. We're gonna put we'll put the pricing list out there. Please order. We appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. We still need to do that. We need to get those numbers up. So if you hear yourself here and you enjoy it, please subscribe. You know what? Y'all need to subscribe. Come on. We've done plenty of things where bought CDs and all that other kind of stuff. And, so subscribing is easy. So please subscribe to the podcast. And thanks, Pat and Shice, for coming on. We love to hear from you. Hopefully next time you'll be able to get on for us. Hold up, Nike. And also, if you have ideas of things that you'd like to see us discuss throughout the week, put them up there. Somebody put something up there about mental health, but we did that. We're going to hit that again. But Nike, go ahead. Finish one last thing, man.
Hey, yeah, this is my last thing. I just want to let y'all know about the reparations. We are currently looking for a civil rights litigation attorney. And, we've been funding this. Me and Stacy have been funding this venture for the last year. We haven't asked anybody for anything. But for this legal representation, this is not just our this is not going to be a suit for just our reparations. This is going to be for our reparations.
All right, so they can
we're
find
gonna-
more information about that on the website also. So
Yeah, because we're
check it
going to
out.
start
So
a
there's GoFundMe.
GoFundMe page
Right.
to try to help us with these legal fees, and and to further support Real Brothers.
All right.
So
So once
we
again, y'all,
appreciate all y'all for listening.
appreciate you for
God bless and
joining
good
in.
night.
Don't forget to check us out next week. Stay tuned to the group message because we have little chats up there. And thank y'all for tuning in. Peace.
We out.